All right, before we actually see it in action then, Douglas, the horse, tell us a little bit about what it is, how it works, and what you'd use it for.
Well, it's a great tool from a jockey's perspective. Gets you very fit. It certainly, if you haven't ridden one, you wouldn't quite understand it. But when you get on it and you get the feel of it and you get to learn how to use it, it's a great tool. And I would challenge anybody who thinks they're fit, if they can ride this for a certain length of time, they'll understand how what different muscles you use, what different techniques you use, and how to really strengthen and tone yourself to get prepared for race day.
I suppose it's quite an important piece of kit. In the good old days, you'd have sat on a bale of straw and tied a bridle to a fence post.
Yep.
But this, it moves. It feels like a horse.
Well, yeah, look, nothing quite feels like a real horse.
Yeah.
But it's probably as close as a jockey can get to when you need to stretch and push and what the feeling of a horse gives you. Obviously the horse underneath you is striding. This is stable. But having said that, it does move. It does. The more unbalanced you are, the more it moves around, and the more difficult it is to ride. So it's put it this way: it fine-tunes you, and if there's any errors, it finds you out.
Yeah, you'd have used this from day one, though, Jerry, when you first started the apprentice school. So you spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, yes. And when I first got on this, I followed a riding race, and yeah, got a good feeling on him.
So how do we use it then? Put Jerry through his paces. Do you actually simulate a race, like sitting in the stalls and push out, or just like a piece of gym equipment,
yeah,
you do sets and reps?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the main way that we work on it, Jerry and I, is for a workout and to fine tune and polish both his style and his fitness. So as far as jumping out the gates and riding a race, we leave that for other things. But yeah, this is one of the older ones, but it's one of the ones that I like best, and it works you out.
Yeah.
What happens is the neck moves differently to the body, and if you don't get into a rhythm, this will come back and hit you in the face.
Right.
So it's really going as if a horse is galloping. And the harder you push this, you can see the back tilts,
yeah,
and the more unbalanced you get. So your aim is to try and get it to move as consistently and as firmly as you can without losing a stride or breaking a rhythm. Once you can perfect that, there's certain times, lengths, and so forth. But yeah, so basically Jerry will get up into a jockey seat, and we'll decide what he needs to do on that particular day. But so that'll be him cantering down to start, or jumping out the gates and getting into a rhythm. And I'll talk him through when to start getting down and ride the finish.
Yeah.
But you'll see from there, okay, Jerry, show them to turn for home now and start to go. You can see now how he gets down and how his arms start to push the head forward, but his body stays fairly still.
Yeah, so this is the important part, to keep this part of...
Yeah, well, you can imagine someone on your back, the stiller you are, the
Yeah.
easier it would be for you to carry him. So, what we try and do is keep that as still as possible, and you're still working that head section, and the back's very quiet.
Can you talk while you're doing that, Jerry? You're out of breath.
Take a loop there, so it doesn't feel okay.
Which muscles are you feeling? Is it all in the legs then, as far as the muscles are concerned?
Well, that's the key to this. It looks like it's not much, but his arms will be burning already.
Yeah.
His shoulders will be burning, and his legs will be telling him to sit down. And he doesn't necessarily have to go too hard, but just by doing that particular speed and strength, he's burning. Ask him.
Yeah. How's it feeling, Jerry? Keep going.
Come on, you're fit enough. You can talk.
I don't know how long he's been going for, but you're pushing a race for 40 seconds, 45 seconds.
It's 40. You say that, it depends. I mean, you get a lazy horse and you get a jockey that can push for a full minute, and I tell you it's tiring. It's like going through hell.
Yeah.
If that's what hell's like. But this here, just because he's keeping the same speed, okay, you can sit. There you can look at his face.
Yeah, it's okay.
But he'll be burning all through here, down here, and this will be killing him.
Yeah.
And
so when you first started riding, when you ride, you'd get the wobbly legs. When you'd finished, the legs would feel a bit.
Yeah, just feel a bit when I ride the wooden horse.
Yeah.
But now my boss told me how to pushing and how to use the shoulder. And now when I training this, I feel my shoulder more now.
How do you develop your style? Was this somebody that you looked at and copied, or is it just something that sort of develops naturally?
When I was a trainee long time ago, Mr. Kukusi, he will show me the Joe picture, how he sit on the horse, and he got a very good balance. So he want us to copy Joe's style, and we just keep practice every day, and my style is just building up, look like Joe.
Yeah.
And when I joined my boss stable, and I'm riding with him every day, and I start to learn his way, and now sometimes they will say I would look like.
Well, you can see
boss.
a bit of it, Douglas, in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's nice. It's nice that it's rubbing off. He's got a beautiful style. I think what he did is he created a style around Joe's. Joe's got a lovely style about him. He's always good to look at. But you know, when you become more confident and when you become your own individual, it's nice that you can start developing a style that you can better, just not copy or simulate somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think Jerry's got a unique style now, in that he's very polished to look at, but it's probably not the right word, but he's pretty to look at as well.
Yeah, no.
You know, he's strong. He doesn't move around too much, and I think that a lot of people have said that he's got a similarity to my style. That's a compliment. I mean, if he's looking good, he can have my style. But it's working for him, and that's the main thing. It's working for him, and you just have to keep building, and you have to keep working at it, and you'll get better.
Yeah. This is, I mean, in terms of other sports as well. If you're a golfer and want to practice your golf swing, you just go to the driving range and hit 100 balls. You can't do that with a horse. You can't just gallop it round, non-stop around the course. So this is great to come in and do all those little things and just fine-tune the angles of your knees and your back, and just.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's more for the younger riders coming through. Is it more the senior riders wouldn't use it as much?
I don't know. I disagree. I think there's a lot of. I used one right up until the last day I rode. You know, when something doesn't feel right, or you might have a small injury that you want to work through, you get on here and you work through it. There's no room for error when those gates open, especially not in Hong Kong. So if you're unprepared, well, then you've got to be prepared to fail. So, you know, this will get you right, and it'll tell you where and if there is any niggling problems or problems that you can correct. You know, there's many different forms and workouts you can do on this, which you can't do in a gym, because this is as close as you're going to get when it comes to race day.
Do you use it on race day, Joe, or do you use it to warm up before you go riding in between?
Yeah. Before the race, maybe half hour before, 1 hour before, I will get on this horse and try to practice and get the muscle, start warming up and start turn on.
Excellent. And Douglas, it's not just you've got to be perfect and professional on the horse, but you've got to be good off the horse these days as well. And speaking of, Jerry's just graduated through his apprentice claim now. You've obviously been a big part of that, but the moulding as Jerry as an individual and a professional athlete, did you find a lot of responsibility with that as well?
Yes, I did, and I'll give as much as anybody gives me. So if Jerry put in the time, and more so the effort and the eagerness to want to learn, and I tried my best, and I still am, in making him a well-rounded individual and a competitive jockey. So, you know, he's in a vulnerable stage of his career now. He's young. He's riding well. He's riding winners. But it's an easy, quick spiral downwards. And let me tell you, the brakes don't work when you're on that spiral downwards. So it's his job now, not mine, to maintain that form and that mental strength and keep training.
Brilliant. All right. Can we get you on board as well? See some of that old Whyte magic. we can. What we'll do is we'll do it in slow mo. We'll get some of the race cars, Lakima Feeds Derby or something like that.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
What is it? The odds-on Whyte asking for the supreme effort. Now we'll have the crowds.
Yeah.
And that's your old saddle, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, eh?
No. And that's another thing about balance. There's no actual girth holding that on, is
no,
there?
I don't like a girth. I know a lot of guys do, but that just it gives you a bit more stabilization and you can't move. There's a lot of jockeys that open their leg or do different things, and it works for those individuals. But you know, if you get on here and you shift too much weight one side, well, the saddle's going to go. So there's another good point. You know, it keeps you well balanced and well rounded.
Go on then, show us.
Well, I haven't done this for a while. Eh?
How long did Jerry went for? A couple of minutes, but we'll.
Well, no, well, I'm not going for a couple of minutes. I'll just show you what.
You've still got it.
Yeah. So there it is.
Brilliant.
And
Thanks, mate.
The good thing on this is, you know, if a jock or an individual drop their stick or their reins, you can practice on this very, you know, you can quickly learn to change your stick and grab your reins. And, you know, the more practice on here you do, the less faults you'll make on race day. That's a great tool.
It is. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry. That was brilliant.